In this lesson, we're going to look at doing some musicianship based around drums. So we're going to load up our first MIDI instrument, and that's going to be a drum kit. So what we have by default is 4 channels. So I'm going to come over to the drum rack, so click on that, and then I'm going to choose a drum kit. I've already preloaded this drum kit because I quite like the acoustic sound. So this is the one I've got. I've just got my MIDI device set up here. Now you can do this on a keyboard, or you can do it on your drum pads, or you can do it on your actual keyboard itself. For this, I'm just going to do it on these drum pads. So here's the sound I've got. So there's my bass drum, there's my snare, and there is my hi-hat. So the idea with this is we're just going to try and learn how to drum and try and learn how to input data live. So often we get into some bad habits of actually just typing the notes in, and that's fine, but actually part of this course is we want to improve our musicianship. So we're going to look at individual instruments and how to play them in, okay? So this is the first one. So we've set up our instrument, so just double click on the instrument you want. Now we're just going to do what's just called a straight 8. So we've got this kind of bass drum on 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've got the hi-hat on 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So together it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, and then we've got the hi-hat, which we're going to play in eighths, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so I'll do that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and this is kind of like your basic rock pattern, really basic, straight 8 it's called. So here we go, here's how it all sounds together. Okay, so if you're not a drummer, that can feel quite daunting. So we're going to step input this because we do want to play it in and we do want to get the kind of feel. And the benefits of playing it in is we're going to get our own custom velocities and we're going to get our own custom grooves. We're going to take this right back to start off with. So the first thing we need to do is create a clip. So here's our drum patch plugged in. So double click on the first clip. Okay, and this brings up the piano roll. It starts off in fold mode. If you click on this button, you'll see every single note. But we're just going to have it in fold mode and we're just going to look at it like this. I've currently got my grid set to 16s. If you right click on this where it says 16, you can actually change that value. So you can go to 32s, you can go to 8s. We could probably get away with 8s on this, but I just like to keep my division set at 16s. And what that basically shows me is that each bar is going to be cut up into 16 squares, okay? So the next thing we need to know is the difference between the global record and the clip record. And this can get quite confusing because if we click the global record, it actually won't do what we want it to do, because what it will be doing, it will actually be recording over here. Okay? And currently that's not really what we want. So we'll go back to our session mode and we're going to use the clip record button, and that will record onto the selected clip. Okay, we're going to set up a few things first. First, we have to have the metronome on. We need this to be in time. This is our drum part, it needs to be in time. So we're just going to start at 120, but if you're starting out, you can change that just by clicking the notes on your keyboard to 100 and then pressing enter. So let's make it a bit slower. So now when we press the play button, okay, so that's quite nice and we can play that in. So we've set up our clip, we've set up our metronome and we've turned it on. So this is the on button, okay? We also need a pre-count. I like to set mine to 1 bar, but if you want to kind of just get used to it, setting it to 2 bars is also a good idea. After this, you might want to set up your quantized values. Now, if you remember, this is our global quantized value, and this is when we're triggering clips and things like that. What we actually need to do is come up to the edit menu and then go down to where it says record quantization, and then I'm just going to set mine up to 16s. Now, if you want to play this in completely raw, you can have no quantizing selected, which is fantastic. If you're really good at keeping to the beat, no quantizing is brilliant. If you're not, you're going to want to set this to 16s If you're kind of getting better, you can set it to 32s and it'll just nudge it a little bit, okay? So for now, we're just going to set it to 16s. And that just means whenever we record something, it's going to snap it to the grid, okay? So we're going to click our record button. It's going to give us 1 bar counting. So here we go. Oh, and we're also on a loop. So we've got our loop here, and we've also set this to a length of 1 bar. If you want it to be a 2 bar loop, which I do in this case, click down here and change it to 2, and then press enter. And now you'll see we've got 2 bars, and that will loop over. So we're going to start by just playing in the bass drum, okay? And we're going to build it up. So press record. Now I can let this run for as long as I want until I'm ready, okay? It will just keep looping round. Okay, just press stop for a minute, because the first thing you notice is it didn't actually turn up. So if I just scroll on this bit here, now you can see. And I was slightly out of time, but it snapped me straight to the grid, which is brilliant. So if I press play, okay, let's do that again. So what I've recorded there is every beat, and I actually don't want that. I want beats 1 and 3. So let's start that again. So click on the record clip button with the clip selected. Okay, if I want to take this out of record mode, this is a really good idea. So I can have it running and I can actually test my next bit. So here's my snare, but out of record mode. And when I'm ready, I can then put it back in record mode, all still live, all still going. And you can see it snapped it straight to the grid, because I was slightly out, but it snapped it to exactly where I want it to be. So it's a really solid beat. But you can also see that my quantizing, which is these ones here, is actually recording how hard I've pressed the individual note. So I might want to just adjust this by bringing the value up a little bit, bringing this value down a little bit, because I don't want the snare to be as hard as the actual kick. Okay, so the next bit we're going to record in is the hi-hat. So let's just press play and we'll test it first. And when I'm ready, I can just press the record clip and we'll go again. And we'll press stop. So that's your first mission, is to actually just get used to playing these parts in. And when you get more confident, try and play the whole thing in together, or try and play more parts at the same time. Also in this lesson, we're going to scroll down and I'm going to include some more simple drumming patterns. And I'll give you a demonstration of what they sound like and how to play them. And your mission is just to kind of practice playing the beats in, okay? So have a go at this one, set your environment up, and I'll see you in the next drumming lesson where we look at another pattern and we try and record that one in.